Good morning, everybody. Today is a new moon, and the new moon is in Aries. All about new beginnings and trying new things. So I'm taking a leap. I'm going to bring you guys with me as I give my offerings to the springs. There's 3 springs, and they feed the watershed of the Pigeon River, which then becomes part of the Mississippi River, and then down to the Delta. Each full moon and new moon, I go with offerings. Usually I gather up walnuts or acorns along the way, lichens that I can find. And I gotta say, there's something special at being with these springs. Over time, I've started to feel their presences. And there's a different presence at each of the 3 springs. The first spring is the misty, mellow spring, the most intact spring of them all. She's back up against a holler. It's pretty hard to get to her. And she has this essence, very youthful, feminine essence, like I would imagine Persephone to be. Thank you for your nourishing water. Thank you for your life-sustaining waters. And then there's Grandmother Spring. And I often sit down and I just talk to the spring and listen, feel the deep connection there. A connection to these areas within me that I struggle to have access to. I can feel the burbling up of emotions coming from below. And it's at Grandmother Spring that I dive in to that well, into that spring, following where the burbling of emotions are coming from. And pass through the veil into this other space, where the world around us becomes a little bit clearer. Where the dream becomes the reality and the reality becomes the dream. Or as one of my teachers, Beatrice Pizer, says, we are the dreamers. We are the dreamt ones. We are the weavers. We are the woven ones. And then there's the 3rd spring. And the 3rd spring has a very family feeling. This is a spring that's been feeding the families that used to live in this home back since the 1850s, and probably way before then too. Every few days, Jason and I, we take 2 5-gallon buckets and fill them with water for drinking water. The spring runs through us every single day. Thank you so much for tuning in for the 2nd episode of A Stash of Stosh. I want to give my gratitude for all the responses I've gotten from folks. Caitlin Tunn said, "Aw, you're so cute, Stash. I love your channel idea. I already smashed that subscribe button." Thank you, Caitlin. That feels so good to receive. Rhonda Karg said, "Wow, this is awesome, just like you. I can't wait to see more. Thank you for sharing." Thank you, Rhonda. Jody McLaurin, who wrote the opening and closing song, Big Catch, wrote, "I love it. This brought me so much joy." Smiled the whole time. Thank you, Jody. And thank you for your amazing song. It uplifts me every time I listen to it. And I want to give a call out for Jody McLaurin and Asher Lee. They're giving an online show tomorrow, or in your case, perhaps today, Wednesday, March 25th. It's going to be online from 7 to 8 p.m. That's Eastern time for all of you Pacific Coast Renoers and California folks. That'll be, let's do some math, 4 to 5 p.m. I think this is their 2nd show together. So all of you Reno friends, and you know who I'm talking to, yeah, check it out. You get to do it. Okay. Carla Martinez, hey Carla, wrote, "I love this." I love you, Carla. Sally Casper, hi Sally. She wrote, "Hey, I loved your foraging video yesterday. So excited you're making these. Since I'm not native to this area, I found it very educational." I'm so glad to hear that you found it educational and a way of getting to know this area that's new to you. Christopher Meager says, hi Chris, "What a great video, Nastasha. Cool enough that it was about wild edible plants and was filmed on location. Your presentation was filled with warmth, playfulness, and a beautiful invitation to just go out and hunt for edible plants. You put a smile on my face. Thank you, Chris. My heart is beaming with joy. Asherly says, I thought of you today as I ran into some wild onions. The smell was beautiful. Yes. I love hearing people connecting with the earth and being inspired to pick up a wild onion and smell it. Oh yeah. And Tiger Lily, number 13, hey Tiger Lily, wrote, so helpful. I will eat some of the dandelions and onions in my yard. Looking forward to more. Thank you, Tiger Lily. Feels so good to receive. I also received a phone call from a friend. From my friend Laura.
Hey, beautiful person. It's Laura. So I saw your video of like foraging, and it was amazing. And I've been thinking about this sort of like separately from what your path is and what you're doing, about just wanting to forage and wanting to like communicate to people, like help like people who don't do this at all, now that they like have to stay at home, have some little piece of information that's like really clear and really easy to do for like a young child and a parent or something. Say like, hey, like today, if you want, you can go find strawberries, and like this is where you find them, and this is what they look like, and you can pick them, and like whatever, something like that, to get more of the mainstream audience that has not ever foraged before, and start teaching people like if they need to find food where they live, like we need to also make cities that have food, and just like getting that into the culture. I've been thinking about this a lot, but I have some ideas that don't need to be manifested. And I've been motivated to go out and do it myself, but I don't know how to forage really well. So this is a super long message. What I want to do is I want to chat with you about your videos and like see if there's some synergy in just like maybe some information that I'm looking for like from somebody, an expert like you, and if you're interested in that being part of your videos. All right, well, I think you're awesome.
Laura, I love receiving this message, and I would so love to collaborate with you and on whatever projects. I'd so love to explore this more with you. I love the idea to bring foraging more into the mainstream. It's such a great way to get outside and to nourish ourselves, to reconnect with the land, and to have some local food sovereignty. Like, let's get beyond food security and let's get into food sovereignty. In my opinion, food sovereignty is based on an intimate connection between the land and the spirits of the land and the plants and the pollinators and the bird people and the tree people and all the soil organisms. The more that we integrate ourselves with all these beings, the more we can lichenize and become a more mutualistic, symbiotic whole with our local communities, both human and non-human communities. There's this intimate connection that happens when a being in the forest or in your lawn just basically gives themselves to you, nourishes you, and all you have to do in exchange is give thanks and not take too much and be really grateful and receive that nourishment. You don't have to sell yourself, you don't have to apply for a job, you don't have to wear a special little outfit, you don't have to say all the right words, you don't have to do all the right things. And just be in gratitude to these beings that nourish and support us and have, since humans have been around, for all of our ancestors, going back before humans, all of our salamander ancestors, all of our moth ancestors, the whole ancestral tree. I feel like foraging interconnects us back with our roots. We're at the end of the episode, and I'd like to leave you with a question. What are you hoping to grow out of the darkness of these times? Okay, until next one, everybody.